Charlemagne was born on April 2nd, 747 AD in Ostend, Austria, which is now Germany. He was the son of Berthada of Lyon and Pepin the Short, who was the king of the Franks from 752 to 768. His childhood is not very well documented, but because later in life he could speak Latin and understand Greek, scholars assume he was very well educated. When his father died in 768, the kingdom was divided between him and his younger brother Charlemagne. The rivalry between the two brothers threatened the unity of the Frankish kingdom. During this time, Charlemagne formed an alliance with Desiderius, who was the king of the Lombards at the time. Charlemagne then married the king's daughter to seal the alliance. When Charlemagne died in 771, Charlemagne took over the whole kingdom, disregarding the rights of Charlemagne's heirs. He ruled much of Western Europe from 768 to 814. He was the king of the Franks, which was a Germanic tribe in present-day Belgium, France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Western Germany, in 768. When he became the king of the Franks, powerful forces of change were affecting his kingdom. The kings before him had conquered many peoples, which made the Frankish kingdom very diverse and hard to unite. He tried to unite all the Germanic people into one kingdom and convert them all to Christianity. In 800, Pope Leo III crowned him the first emperor of the Romans. He then united the Franks and the Romans together. He then conquered the Lombards, which is now present-day northern Italy, in 771. He also conquered the Avars, which is present-day Austria and Hungary. Throughout his life, he had multiple wives and as many as 18 kids. He was a devoted father and encouraged his children's education. He loved his daughters so much that he didn't let them marry while he was alive. He had good health until the last 4 years of his life, when he had a severe fever and got a limp. In 813, he crowned his son Louis the Pious King of Aquitaine as co-emperor. He waged a 3-decade-long battle against the Saxons, a Germanic tribe who were pagans. In the massacre of Verdun in 782, he ordered the slaughter of 4,500 Saxons. He eventually ordered them to be Christian, and anyone who didn't get baptized or follow other Christian traditions would be put to death. Although this is a very extreme thing he did, it showed his dedication to the church in a weird way. He was a very zealous defender of Christianity, and he gave money and land to the church. He also protected the popes. He promoted education and economic and religious reforms. He was also the driving force behind the Charlemagne minuscule, which was a standard form of writing. He encouraged the Charlemagne Renaissance, which was an art, education, and religious reform. He was described as broad and strong in the form of his body and exceptionally tall, without, however, exceeding an appropriate measure. His appearance was impressive, whether he was sitting or standing, despite having a neck that was fat and too short, and a large belly, by Enhard in the biography Life of Charles the Great. Through his religious reforms, he strengthened the church's power, educated the clergy, improved their skills, and standardized liturgical practices. He had the Benedict's rule copied and distributed to encourage monks throughout Western Europe to follow it as a standard. He also took an intense interest in church music and ensured it was adequate throughout his empire. His authority was now extended over church and state. He could discipline clergy, control church property, and define orthodox doctrine. Despite the harsh and sudden change, he had grown well-developed support from the clergy who approved his desire to deepen the piety and morals of his Christian subjects. He was a follower of the Pope, and was led by the Pope to help protect the Roman Empire from being taken over by non-Christians, and to expand the reach of the Roman Catholic religion. A lot of the ways they expanded the church was through fighting. Back then, anything and everything was usually settled by war or act of some violence. He was following the Pope during the Crusades, so he fought for the church and their power. Also, all of their armor had crosses on them. He cared a lot about proper education for children. He wanted them to be educated in books, but also in the Bible and the church. In those days, religion was something that shaped their whole world, so religion was everything. This is the reason why much of the fighting was in the name of God. His actions teach me to want to change things I think should be changed, but not only to think about changing them, but to actually act on my thoughts. He ruled a diverse kingdom, and he succeeded at bringing it together in the name of Christianity. In the very diverse world and Bay Area, we can work to bring everyone together to understand the gifted Jesus and a correct understanding of the church. And he's my 27th grandfather.